Wow, Sina.
Another day, another dollar. I'm saving just to be broke. They said college was serious, but my degree feel like a joke. 4 years or less, I'm sane. I got it done. No playing, just to end up at my mom's after I told her I wasn't staying. Well, here we are. No question, I'm a star. Just got some light years to travel, but it's just so far. But I'ma make it though. Make sure you get your focus right. You coming too, it's about to be one hell of a ride. Yeah, this adults and stuff is crazy. They ain't warned us about this. I'm supposed to live my best life on an unpaid internship. I'm supposed to find my husband. Everybody running game. I guess the more things change, the more they stay the same. Went from worrying about on flow to running from Uncle Sam. Now I understand why student accounts never gave a damn. Saving accounts be slipping, trying to work out, but I'm tripping. I forgot health insurance. Oh, I'm my mom's until I'm 26, so I gotta pay these student loans. That's adulting. What the score doing the most? That's adulting. Moving out of mom's house. That's adulting. But it's all gonna work out. That's adulting. I need a legal side hustle. That's adulting. Cause these bills got me in trouble. That's adulting. Journey's course is never planned. That's adulting. Just leave it in God's hands. Cause that's adulting.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of the School of Life podcast. As always, I am excited about today's episode because we are talking about something I care a lot about, and that is real estate investing, which you probably knew from the title of the episode. In today's show, I'm going to talk about my real estate journey over the last 3 years and the truth about investing as a regular 9-to-5er. Like, there's no trust fund. There's not a whole bunch of money in the bank. I'm a regular person who decided to take a chance on myself. And I want to set the stage for what that really looks like. I also want to debunk the social media gurus. And I say that very loosely because they're not teaching a whole bunch of anything. If anything, they are sharing misinformation. And so I want to really share knowledge, resources, and tools that will help everyday people just like me get into the real estate investing space. I also want to share some hard lessons and truths that I've learned over the last 3 years. Because people aren't talking about the ugly. We see the closing signs, we see the deals close, we see all of the glamorous things, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that we don't see. And so I really want to lay out what those hard lessons look like. And lastly, I have to say, I do not proclaim to know it all. This is not professional real estate advice. Well, it kind of is, but I am not an agent. I'm not a broker. I am, again, a regular person taking a chance on myself, investing in real estate, sharing my experience. So this is not legal advice. Do not go do something crazy and then try to sue me. Okay, gotta say that. Anyways, before I get into the real estate teas, y'all know the drill. Grab your note-taking tools because School of Life is now in session. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am all for generational wealth. I am for wealth building. I am for maximizing markets. I am for capital flow to everyday people. And shout out to my job. I've learned, a lot of the lingo there, capital flow. But I am for that for people who look like me, who come from a background that I come from. But I want the record to show I am not for the BS. I am not for the bare minimum information that is shared across Instagram, Twitter, or X, TikTok, Facebook, all the platforms. I want people to have access to real knowledge so that they can make real decisions in terms of what investing looks like for themselves. Because when you are a regular person like me, you do not have money to waste, especially when you talk about thousands of dollars, not $200, $300, like thousands. And so the information I share, I want this to be a resource and a tool. Now, I do want to preface the conversation. Don't get me wrong. Real estate is the way to build generational wealth. Obviously, it's not the only way to do that. I do believe everyone should have a piece of the pie, but there are orders and processes that we need to follow to do that. And that is what this conversation will do. So, real knowledge, real resources, real experience from a regular human being who took a chance on herself. So let's get into it. 5 things you actually need to know to become a real estate investor. Number 1, you need way more money than people make it seem. Point blank, period. $5,000, not gonna cut it. 10,000, maybe if you find a good lender. I'm talking minimum $20,000 of liquid cash. Sometimes people talk about, oh, only $1,000 will get you into XYZ. No, to be a true real estate investor where you are owning some property, owning some land, owning whatever type of real asset you are aspiring to purchase, you need money. And I'm saying at least 20K. The more money you have, the more buying power you have. And that is something I learned in my own experience. So, harsh truth. I was thinking 10K, we in there. I can get whatever I want. I can get this hard money loan. Like, surely they're going to approve me. They pretty much laughed in my face because, girl, what are you going to buy with $10,000, especially when loan origination points are 5 and 6%? And we can get into all of the nitty gritty and the details, but look it up if you want some, information about origination, all the things. Long story short, I thought I would be smooth sailing with my little 10K, but I soon found out because of how hard money loans are written up, and we'll talk about hard money loans and what they are, it costs a lot to borrow the money. So in essence, the more money that you have, the more buying and borrowing power that you have. Simply put, no one is handing out opportunities. If they say they are, it's a lie. If it sounds too good to be true, it's a lie. Whatever you're reading about, if it's not minimum $20,000, run. And I want to preface that 20,000 to own something. Now there are some opportunities to do group investing, joint ventures. Those things are legit and you should do your own due diligence and research. But if you're talking about buying a real asset, 20K minimum. The second thing you actually need, you need a team. I don't care how independent you are, how got it going on, Mr. I'ma fix it myself, the couple that does it all. Absolutely not. That is not going to work. And I hate to bust your bubble. You can do all things, just not all things in real estate by yourself. There are 4 key players that you need on your team. That's going to be your realtor, who helps you actually find properties, your broker, who helps you find proper lenders and brokers and negotiates on your behalf, your actual lender, who's going to give you the money to buy the real asset, and your contractor if you are flipping a home. And we'll talk about the fix and flip strategy. Some people are very handy, especially the guys out there, and they can go in and fix things themselves, but you always want to have a licensed contractor double check any work that's being done, because your loan terms, loan being LOAN, may be contingent on the contractor being licensed and all the things. So you have to have a team. It's important to vet people, to interview them, to get to know them, to know their experience. Hard lesson here. We worked with a realtor that was fairly new to the industry. And say were my favorite, I'll just say. And shout out to them. They were professional in all the things, but new agents are really wanting to get the sale. They want their first sale. They want to close the deal versus someone who's been doing this 20, 25, 30 years, who knows the hot spots. They're going to know the language to use, the lenders to use. Like, they have their own network. And so we opted for a more seasoned realtor because we needed someone who would fight on our behalf. We didn't want to be new and have a new realtor. We both the blind leading the blind in that case. And so having your standards and your boundaries set around what criteria you want your team to have is really important. So you need a team. Don't think you can do it on your own. Realtor, broker, lender, contractor. Find them, secure them. They won't let you down. Well, they may, but it's up to you to do your vetting and your due diligence. The third thing you need, and this is one of the most important, I will say. Hear me out. The most important. You need some more knowledge. And this is where it gets real. I don't want to insult anyone's intelligence. I'm a smart person. Y'all know I have 2 degrees, proud of it. went to school my whole life, learned a lot, life experiences. I feel that I know a lot of things, but even in real estate, well, not even, but with real estate, there's so much I did not know. And even the things I learned, there was still so much to that. And so there's continuous learning that I don't think people are talking about. Everyone's rushing to the closing table, rushing to get the check, rushing to hold up the sign, sold by XYZ, rushing to take the pictures and post it on social media. How about we rush to the library? Let's rush to Google and learn a little bit more before we end up in a jam. Another hard truth, there was some knowledge I didn't seek, and I rushed into something and it cost me $5,000. I'm still recovering and in therapy for that 5,000 because that's not little money. But because of my rush, that's on me. And so to help people not make those same mistakes, I'm a really, really, really big advocate for getting more knowledge. You really want to know what you're talking about. And I'm not saying you have to know everything about every topic, but you want to have a really good and clear understanding of what's what and what isn't. Know the terms, know the lingo, know the players in the deals. There's so much I have learned just in the last, I'll say 3 months that I didn't know about buying a property versus when our strategy was fixing and flipping. There's just so much knowledge to gain. And so really challenge yourself to sit down and learn more, take in more information. My grandma used to always say, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. So listen twice as much as you talk. You will go a long way if you consume more knowledge about the industry. With the knowledge, I want to point out that there were some key things that stood out to me that are very important for anyone to know. One of those is understanding how down payments and closing costs work. You always hear people say, oh, you only need 3.5% down, your seller can pay your closing costs, blah, 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 all of those things. With real estate investing, it's not always so cut and dry. Down payments and closing costs, first of all, are two separate things, and they both can be 3 to 5%. So technically, 6 to 10% of the purchase price is what you're going to have to bring to the table. And when you are an investor and you are getting a loan for your investment property, that may be even more. And so sometimes you're looking at 15 to 20%, which is why at the beginning of the show, I said you need the 20K, and that just depends on the purchase price. So again, having a good understanding, down payments, closing costs, attorney fees, like all of that I recently learned about. I had heard about it, but really seeing a disclosure sheet where it was like 30 things that we're paying for, that was a lesson. That was a real lesson that I learned. Another thing that we learned, understanding how interest affects your loan payments. And so, obviously, if you take out a loan for an investment property, they're going to charge you interest. You really want to be clear about how that carries into your monthly payments, where you're paying interest, all the things. So, again, get more knowledge about what you're aiming to do. Know what type of loan you want to have. Just last year, I learned what a DSCR loan is. That's a debt service coverage ratio loan. I learned about hard money loans. Well, I knew about them, but I learned even more about how hard money loans work. And then obviously you have your FHA loans that are backed by the government, and you have your conventional loans. In terms of real estate investing, you're going to primarily be using a hard money loan or a DSCR loan. And I'll share some links in the show notes about both types of loans. Long story short, though, DSCR loans help you buy property to rent out. The property needs to already be rent ready. They use the potential rental income to qualify you for the loan. This loan, you can buy with your business name. You do not have to put it in your personal name, but you will have to personal guarantee. Hard money loans, on the other hand, are used primarily for fix and flip properties. So you find a distressed property, a lender gives you the money to purchase the property and to finance the rehab. You do the rehab, when your contractor does the rehab, and then you put the house back on the market to sell. You pay the lender back, you make a profit. Again, there's so many types of loans out there. This is another one of those things you want to educate yourself on so that you know what you're talking about and so that you don't get taken advantage of. And then one of the last things that was really key is understanding PMI, mortgage insurance, your homeowner's insurance, and how all of that affects what your loan payments will be. There's an option to use FHA money to buy an investment property. And so there's obviously PMI that's attached to FHA loans. You always have to have homeowners insurance. Like all of those things matter when you talk about buying real assets, aka real estate property. So again, educate yourself, get in the library, get off TikTok, get you a mentor, network with people who are actually doing this and who will teach you about what this industry takes. The fourth thing that you need to really get into real estate investing is a clear strategy. You may be thinking, girl, what is a strategy? You're always talking about a strategy. Tell me what it is. There are 4 types of real estate investing strategies that I want to share that you should do more research on. The first one is short term rentals. That's your Airbnb, your VRBO, your Vacasa. You want to know, am I going to do short term rentals or not? If you're not, maybe you're going to do long term rentals. And this is more of your traditional renting where you may buy a home and then put a renter in it and they're paying you as their landlord their monthly rent. You're using that to pay the mortgage and then maybe there's a profit. You also have fix and flip, which I just talked about. And then you have what's called buy and hold, which is similar to a long-term rental or long-term tenant, being in the home, but you buy a distressed property for future resale. So instead of flipping the house, you're going to buy it, fix it up, and you're going to hold on to it, possibly putting a renter in it or making it a short-term rental home, vacation property, whatever the case. And then because you know that the market is going to do what the market does, you sell it at a later date. So again, get clear on what you're even doing and don't try to do everything at one time. That was a mistake that I made early on, just trying to honestly get to the money. I was trying to be like everybody else. Where's the closing table? Where's my check? I want the money in the bank account. But I needed to really sit down to say, okay, based on market trends, where I live, the places I'm looking to invest, what makes the most sense? And that goes back to knowing some knowledge. Having some knowledge, I could then use that knowledge to inform the strategy that makes the most sense. Having a clear strategy helps you save time, money, and headaches. I kid you not, I wasted many headaches, time, and money because initially the strategy was a little blurry. I was wanting to get to the money. Also, I want to encourage you, one strategy at a time. You can do them all, just not at the same time. That doesn't make any sense. And then I kind of hinted at this. Get clear on how market trends affect different strategies. And so, very transparently, we started out headstrong about flipping homes because we knew that if we sold a home that we rehabbed, we could get a check for 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 and up. But the truth of the matter is, based on market trends in the cities that we were looking at the time, flipping wasn't the most lucrative. And so, back to getting more knowledge, you want to really understand how the market works, what affects real estate interest rates, how markets move, like all the things. Obviously, you don't have to be a guru, but it's important to have a working knowledge so that you don't waste time, money, and your own personal health because it can be exhausting and taxing. Lastly, the fifth thing you need to get into real estate investing, you need a community. Just like networking in your professional career, you want to surround yourself with people who are doing the things that you want to do. Nothing against auntie, mama, and them who gonna give you some advice about when they bought a home 30 years ago. We love them. But they don't know what's going on in the market today unless they're in it. And so you want to surround yourself with people who are doing this, people who have closed the deals, people who are getting more knowledge. You want to make real estate friends, quite frankly, because the people that are in your circle and in your community will help you grow and elevate in your real estate investing journey. So share your goals with those people. Talk about, what you're looking to do. Closed mouths do not get fed. I literally was able to acquire a property just because I shared with someone what my goals were. And months later, this person called me and was like, hey, I got this house. You trying to buy it? I'm like, girl, yes, I'm trying to buy it. I kid you not, true story. And so you want to be open and honest about what you need, what you're looking to do, and surround yourself with people who are going to support you. All right, I've talked a lot. I hope y'all have a ton of notes. I'm going to wrap up with the 5 things you need to get into real estate investing. And of course, y'all know we're going to have some homework. Now, I'm all for the wealth building, getting into real estate, all the things. I've said this a million times in this show already. I want to see more people who look like me, people who, what the kids say, got it out the mud. That's us. I want to see us succeeding and owning property. Like, quite frankly, my parents never owned property. My grandparents never owned property. Like, I didn't grow up in the same house all my life. And so these are important milestones and very important monumental things in my life to say I not only own the property, it's an investment property. I want that for everyone. But I want that for everyone who's going to seek out the knowledge and really do the work to get it and not try to get a quick cash grab because somebody on TikTok said, buy my course and you're going to get to the closing table in 10 days. That's not how it works. Listen, I know it's frustrating. This process is crazy. It's almost ludicrous. Like, people would think that you have gone crazy when you talk about your real estate goals and the viability of real estate, especially if they're not in it. But when you have the right people in your corner and in your circle and you're connecting with like-minded individuals, you truly can soar. So take those 5 things, do with them what you will, and let me know how that goes. All right, y'all, before we get out of here, y'all know you're going to have some homework. So for your homework this week, if you're interested in real estate investing, all I want you to do is create yourself a get more knowledge plan. Whether that's in your notes, in a notebook, get you a composition book, I don't care where it is, but create yourself a get more knowledge plan. Are you going to listen to more podcasts about real estate? Are you going to read more books? Are you going to go to the library like I suggested? By the way, we should all support our local libraries. Are you going to go to a local meetup, join a Facebook group? Like, what are you going to do to get more knowledge? Write that down, create a plan. Don't go overboard. Pace yourself. Maybe it's one thing a month until you acquire the knowledge you need, but do something to get the knowledge. The second thing that you're going to do, I want you to open your phone right now, put in your notes or write in your notebook 3 people that you want to connect with. Or 3 types of people, I should say. So is it an agent? Is it a broker? Is it a lender? Is it a fellow investor? Write that down and then seek out where those people are. Are they at conferences? Are they at local meetups? Again, are they in Facebook groups? It's important to surround yourself with people who have the same goals as you. And then lastly, if you're not into real estate investing and you just love hearing me talk on this podcast or watching this video, share this episode with someone that you feel would benefit from it. All right, friends, that wraps up another episode of the School of Life podcast. As y'all know, I hope you learned something new or gained some sort of new insight because that is why this podcast exists. Keep fighting, keep pushing, keep evolving. Talk to you soon. Did you enjoy this episode? If so, give us a follow at School of Life Podcast on Instagram and be sure to follow me at _Miss Jaye. That's _MISSJAYE. Did you enjoy this episode? Give us a follow on Instagram at School of Life Podcast. And don't forget to follow me, your favorite host, at _Miss Jaye. That's _MISSJAYE.
That's adults with the score doing the most. That's adults and moving out of mom's house. That's adults, but it's all gonna work out. That's adults. I need a legal side hustle. That's adults, 'cause these bills got me in trouble.